He don't talk right anyway. Hello, this is Randy Horton. I'm the host of the Don't Talk Right podcast. This is episode 8. Today we're talking to Loraine Mponela. She's an activist and a poet, and I'm going to turn it over, Loraine, and let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much, Randy. I'm Loraine Mponela. I'm originally from Malawi, but I live here in Coventry now. I've been in the UK for the last 14 years. I have a son, but my son lives in Malawi. My background is public health. I did a bachelor's degree in Malawi, and then I did a master's degree at University of Leeds in public health. I worked a little bit as a carer in palliative care when I lived in Leeds before I claimed asylum. And then I became an asylum seeker from 2015. So I've been an asylum seeker from 2015 to 2022, August 2022. But now I'm recognized as a refugee. So yeah, from August 2022. Yeah, so in short, that's it.
Well, congratulations on concluding that journey, because that's a big one.
Yeah. It took a very long time. It took a very long time, but yeah, it's indeed an achievement, and I'm so lucky because along the way a lot of things have happened. We had friends that we have lost, and a lot of things have happened. But I'm still here telling my story myself, so that's one good thing.
Well, should we jump into then with a journey like that? It must be full of stories and things. What is the role of writing? What's the role of poetry in your journey from early on till now?
Yeah, so I started writing when the pandemic just started. That's to do with poetry. So I did something with a local artist here in Coventry, Lola. It's called God, I Love My Son, because she saw on my WhatsApp that I write God, I Love My Son. So she said, what does that mean? So then I wrote something, and then she made a video, but then people were saying, oh, you know that poem? I was like, oh, was it a poem? So I wanted to explore that. Yeah, so during the pandemic, then I started attending, workshops and all of that. I used to go on Eventbrite a lot to search for things that are free and attend and learn and write. So they would give us prompts, but I was directing it to myself, to my own stories. And then I found that I wrote a lot. Yeah. Then I started searching on Amazon. I was looking to say, what are refugees and asylum seekers writing about? Because I wanted to see if what I'm writing is also in line with the people are writing about. I came across a poetry book by J.D. Amori, who was also a refugee in this country. And so she also wrote poems. And in her book, she acknowledged someone called Tom. I contacted Tom. I was like, I've also been writing. Do you think my poems I can publish? And yes, he said, of course we can, but there are just too many. So we need to pick whatever poems that you like. Then we can support you to publish. And yeah, so things happened very quickly because when we were having those conversations as well, that's when also I got my status. And then, yeah, I felt that urge to just publish. Yeah.
That's very exciting. So all of your interest in writing poetry is very recent then. I mean, the last 3 or 4 years.
Yes. 2020, 2022. But most of the poems that are in this book, it's many in 2021, 2022, because 2020 was just learning. And so I for me, I think what was driving me was to say what I'm thinking, so each time I write something, I would want to read it, and they are all over the place, but when I look back to it, I'm like, yeah, that was my beginning. So it's yeah, but I guess I got improving, so I'm at a different stage at the moment. Yeah.
Very quickly, it sounds like. Before that, did you enjoy poetry? Did you read poetry or anything like that? I mean, growing up, or?
Yeah. When we were growing up, because we used to read English books, mainly it was to do with memorization, in school, because we didn't have enough books. So when you're at school, teachers will make sure that you read the book and you memorize the poems and all of this and all of that. So that was the type of thing. Most of the time, probably, we didn't even understand what the poem is about, but it was a habit to memorize poems, and then you just sing like you're singing. So that was the relationship all through my life. Yes, I could read the poems, but most poems, sometimes I'm like, I can't understand what it means. Like maybe the English is hard, is difficult. Yeah, so yeah, but it hasn't been like a lot of involvement with the poetry. This is why when people are talking about, oh, that poem that you did, I was like, oh my God, was it a poem? So I need to explore because that God I Love My Son thing, for me, it was like, it opened my eyes. When I see a lot of people talking about it, it kind of like created conversations. So for me, I thought it must be a way that maybe it was also presented that people it caught people's attention and all of that. So I wanted to capitalize on that and continue doing that.
It
Much as
sounds,
sorry.
that's okay.
Yeah, I wanted to say, much as I also kind of like write articles, write this, write that, make some videos, but I was focusing mainly now on poetry throughout this pandemic.
It sounds like for you, the poems were a form of storytelling, but they obviously had these poetic elements that other people picked up on, and so it led you to the sort of poetry as a genre, and as a, I don't want to say singing, but did you get involved in the in performing your poetry then as well?
Yes, we have. Beginning of 2022, we were at Warwick Arts Center. I'm part of a group that the same artist who made me do the God I Love My Son, she a project called Writing Our Journey, something like that. So we're like 7 women. We meet occasionally to write. And so in March 2022, out of the writing that we did, my own contribution was the 4 generation warriors. In the book, there's a poem, 4 generation warriors. So that was my contribution to that performance that we had. But we created like it was one long piece, but each woman had their own story in it, and it was so nice to even go and perform in front of a real audience and at Warwick Arts Center. Oh yeah. I also perform like in Zooms where we just read poems and open mics and all of this, because that has also been very helpful for me, because that's where it depends on the workshop. Some workshops people will give you feedback, or just the comments that people put in the chat, for me has been like amazing, because that's what I pick on. What line did people like? And I'm like, okay, I'll keep that. Yeah.
Very good, very good. Do you want to talk a little bit about the book and what's in the book and what your aims are? And
yeah, so wow, this book mainly it's personal, but also at the same time I also tell stories about others as well, who are it's my experiences going through the asylum system. Like I said, it took me like 7 years in the asylum system, so there was a lot going on. So it touches on a number of things: grief, mental health, love, everything. Yeah, so it's much as it's more personal, but there's also some element of like traumas for other people, collective trauma, and and things like that. So if you don't mind, I can read maybe part of a poem or a poem. So oh God. Okay, so I will read from the glass bottle. This poem talks about mental health. So I wrote this poem in April 2021 when I was asked to speak at Migrant Help Conference. So I was the guest speaker, something like that. So I was talking about mental health in asylum seekers. So I summarized that speech in form of this poem at the afterwards. From the glass bottle. Have you ever been in a bottle, a colorless bottle with a tightly closed top? You can see the flowers and the birds, but you can't smell the roses. You are not allowed. You can see the bees and the insects, but you can't feel them on your skin. They are not allowed. You can see the cars drive past, but in muffled sounds. You exist and you don't. You touch, but nothing touches you. Sometimes you want to escape this prison with open walls where I wear a tag that says I can't get a job, a life, a relationship, or just be happy because the bottle has rules. Am I going mad thinking the trees lie when they sway to an invisible breeze playing with my mind? These soundless birds hopping from branch to branch, acting out a silent recital of my death, which is being in a bottle with a top tightly closed. I'm not being treated humanely for the biggest crime of needing help, and therefore confined in a bottle, where I see everything but never touch. Oh, that juicy job passing by, that course I could do, that meal in a restaurant. All for one whose life is a bottle. I'm shouting, I'm screaming for attention, tears streaming, hitting the bottle walls with my fist. But no one hears me, and I can't hear anyone. The pain to know that outside this bottle, there is a life, a normal life. Will I ever be happy again? Can somebody talk to me? Please break the glass bottle. I need to breathe fresh air too, like every other human being. Thank you.
Beautiful. Just a great encapsulation of that feeling of alienation and disconnection and desperation,
Yeah.
all in there. Beautiful. And you, when you read these, you also connect with a community, I guess, of people who are seeking asylum status. Are you able to connect with people who are still in that process?
Yeah, because maybe I should have mentioned this in my introduction. So yeah, in Coventry, I'm part of Coventry Asylum and Refugee Action Group, which is a group of asylum seekers, refugees, and migrants, especially migrants with precarious status, living in Coventry and the surrounding places. So in short, we are called CARAG. So yeah, I'm part of that, and I've been part of that community since I came to Coventry. And the book has also been popular, not only to people maybe who work with the asylum seekers and migrants, but also to ourselves as asylum seekers, migrants, and refugees. Only that not every asylum seeker can afford to buy a book, but people have been very kind enough. The book costs £7.50, but some people have been paying £10. So I've just been collecting those extra money and then making it in form of a donation so that I could give a copy to people who cannot afford. So, and some people have just paid in money, like another lady just gave £50 to say, I don't know asylum seekers, I don't work with any asylum seeker, but if you can give these copies to asylum seekers, that would be, yeah. So yeah, I've just been donating, and it has been popular. I have a lot of requests from Scotland, you know, but I can only do what I can afford also to give. Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
I guess it sounds to me, you can sort of expand on this or correct me, but there's one audience for your book would probably to let people know who might not understand the experience of being a refugee and what it's like. And so that might be one person you're trying to reach. And then other people are people who do know what it's like very well and who identify with what you're writing and take some comfort in hearing that story.
Yeah, definitely. So I've had a lot of feedback, like you are saying, even people that already work with asylum, and like the other guy who used to work at Coventry Migrant Center, when he read the book, he said, you've given me an understanding of asylum seekers that I never knew. So to me, it's like, but this person has been working with Coventry Asylum and Refugee, Coventry Refugee and Migrant Center. So yeah, so it's kind of like you have to read it in order for you to make your own opinion and see if there's something that you can learn for the first time, or you can resonate, or you can empathize, stuff like that. Yeah, so it's either whether you are already an asylum seeker, you are a refugee, or you are a supporter, or you have no clue. I still feel like there's a place for you in there. Yeah.
Right.
Mm. Mm.
This is sort of an unrelated question, but I'm wondering, because your training is in public health,
Yeah.
I was wondering about how your interest in public health maybe ties into the poetry and your aims with the poetry.
Actually, I haven't written. Of course, when we talk about mental health stuff and public health, and and destitution and homeless, to me all those things interfere with the our health, our outcomes, health outcomes. So for me, mainly the writing has helped me because when you have so many things going on. I know during the pandemic people were saying, oh, we have nothing to do. For me, it was my busiest time of my life ever, because there was just a lot of things to deal with. I was the chairperson for the group that I just talked about, Coventry Asylum and Refugee Action Group. So when you are the chair, definitely you oversee a lot of things. So there was a lot also going on during the pandemic, and we had several projects that had to come up, like a housing project, like cooking project, right? So yeah, there was a lot of things going on, but I also, at the same time, I was an asylum seeker. That didn't change with me. I already have my own stress and problems and all of this and all of that. So writing was like a way where I was just dumping things that I'm going through on day-to-day basis, and I kept writing. So that helped to clear my head, so that I don't carry around thoughts and things and all of that. So that way, it definitely helped with my mental state, as well as capturing the everyday experiences and thoughts from myself, as well as things that I was seeing in my life as I was doing this work.
How do people go about finding your book? I think it's on Amazon.
It is on Amazon, which has also been doing very well. Actually, I cannot complain. But I also have had copies. So a lot of people, because people ask for signed, how can I get a signed copy? So they can get the book from me. My social media is Loraine Mponela. So at Loraine Mponela, they would find me either on Twitter or Facebook or things like that. I'm also on YouTube if they search my name. And then I post the book to whichever address they give me. But at the moment, it's only on Amazon, where people can buy from anywhere in the world where they are.
Very good. Did you want to share something else from the book?
Yeah. There is a poem that women are asking a lot when. Oh, yeah. Can you read this? So yeah, this poem is called "I'm Enough." I was told I was only good for nothing. That was a lie. I was told as a woman, I can't stand up and speak. I can't shine by being truly who I am. That was a lie. I was told I was only good for raising children, that education was a waste of time. That was a lie. I was told as an asylum seeker, I should zip it and be grateful, even when it hurts. That was a lie. I then told myself something different. I am worthy. I am deserving. I am enough. I'm enough. I was born great. I deserve all the best things in life. I am as good as anybody, if not better. I will open my mouth as wide as hell, and for as long as I live. This list is not exhaustive because I'm not done yet. I listen to myself and not others. The universe is big enough for one like me, making no excuses, just cruising with oxygen in my lungs, carrying me higher and higher under the wings of love and compassion from He who created the earth and the moon. If I'm not enough, so is the moon and the sun and the stars. And remember, the silent trees exchanging carbon dioxide for oxygen with no drama or questions, just doing their thing, just like me. I'm enough. Thank you.
Very good. So in that one, there's a different theme, which is about not only being seeking asylum or being a refugee, but also being a refugee who happens to be a woman as well.
Yeah.
I was wondering about if you wanted to say anything about that intersection between being a refugee and a woman.
Yeah. So I'll give an example. Like when we were going through the pandemic stuff, because women who have extra issues and problems. For example, even accessing hygiene products during the pandemic, it was an issue. That wouldn't be maybe a big issue with men. Yes, they will need a toilet paper, for example, but I mean, but yeah. So a lot of stuff, a lot of problems came up specifically for women with the children. There's no space where you are sharing a house. Everyone wants to be in the kitchen, but you have a plan for your child. There's no space. So there was a lot of things that were caused pain and stress, and which is on top of just being an asylum seeker. Yeah. So as women, I think we face a lot already, on top of other stuff that we already face as asylum seekers.
Sure.
And yeah, and just for example, men can go and pick a shirt and a trouser, probably, and a pair of shoes. Those things will be enough. But as women, you need even more. You want something for your hair, you want something for your, your skin, for your nails, depends on your lifestyle as well. And so there's a more need to women than it is for men,
Right.
which makes even the process even harder.
Do you think that women in that process are treated differently than the men?
In the asylum system?
Yes.
For me, what I would love is this extra support. So, for example, when I was asylum seeker, when I was on benefit, the first 3 years of my asylum, not 3 years, from 20, up to 2017, I was receiving benefit, which was the same as everyone else. I would have loved if women were getting a little bit more, because we have other things that you need to have. So much as the treatment is the same, but at the same time, because our needs are a bit more. So but that wasn't put into consideration. So
right. I understand. You mentioned some of the other people that sort of encouraged you and who were writing. I was wondering, do you recommend any other poets or writers that are good voices for people in your community?
I mentioned JD. I think she published this book sometime back. I can't remember the year, but maybe 2013 or somewhere there. It is a good book, but I also myself, I don't just read poetry alone. I read I read different books. So be it people who are writing on borders, people who are writing on just the hostel environment itself. But in terms of specific poets, I've been part of where you submit a poem and then they compile a book. I think I can get one of the anthology here. 1 second. That's just one of the anthologies, which also has a lot of, it talks about status for all poetry, and so it's different people submitting their poems. I also have 3 of my poems in that anthology as well. So there's different different call outs, and then in the end they publish. There was another one I didn't get. My whatever I submitted it wasn't approved, but it's also it's called the places we find ourselves in, something like that. Places we find ourselves in. It's also I've forgotten the people who edited it, but it's also it gives very good insights into migration stuff and asylum and hostel environment and stuff like that. But myself personally, I'm part of a group. Apart from writing the journey here in Coventry, I'm part online. We meet a group I found on Eventbrite. It's called Writers at Play. So it's for older people, 60 and above. That's the criteria. I'm not 68, I turn 49, although I feel more over 60. But but I asked them during the pandemic, because I was looking for a community. A lot of things happened during the pandemic. I lost my grandson and I wasn't there and all of this. So I was just looking for a community to be part. And they accepted me to say, no, you can join. So I started writing with them. We meet every Wednesdays in the evenings, and it's a very good, I think it's a very good group, because the lady who learns it from Legacy Poetry, she knows how to support everyone in the group, and I like that.
Yes, and there are a lot of writing groups where people become really close and grow a lot personally, not just as writers. So I think it's a great way to build a community and find connection with other people. I mean, what better way than through poetry, because you're really putting it all out there, aren't you? You know, your feelings and your thoughts.
Yeah. So like one of the ladies, we are together in this group. She came at the launch of my book here in Coventry. So for me, I was like, oh my God, but we just met online, and we've been meeting online. So that was amazing. And when I published my book, everyone was like, oh, I've already bought. I was like, no, I want to send you a copy. No, I've already bought. And they were like, oh my God. Yeah, so I felt so supported.
That's very good. That's excellent. I'm so glad to hear it. We're getting kind of close to the end, not quite to the end of the thing, but I was wondering if you want to kind of close out with another poem from the book.
Yeah, we can find one. Let's see. Which one. Okay, I will read Still I Am Limitless. It's on page 77. Yeah, so this poem is called Still I Am Limitless. I am everything. I'm the wind blowing but unseen. I'm the sunlight shining on wilting souls. I'm a force of nature, full of life. I am a fearless public speaker, climbing barbed wires, reaching for the podium. Torn clothes are my trademark, a symbol of my struggle to becoming limitless. I am autodidact poet, performing distressing stories in open mics. Still, I am limitless. I am a double-barreled mother to my own and then more, holding on to the dying child. Still, I am limitless. I am a fighter, climbing steps to the 13th floor, standing tall, barefoot, catching insults. Still, I am limitless. I am a woman amongst feminist women trying to squeeze my chair in the circle. Still, I am limitless. Still, I am limitless. And still, I am limitless. Thank you.
Fantastic. And I think that's just a great way to wrap everything up. And it's been wonderful to chat with you, and I wish you all the best, your organization all the best, and for all the people who are refugees and are seeking asylum, I wish them all the best too. So
thank you so much. And yeah, this is actually a good contribution for you, because you have a platform and you are saying, okay, I will bring refugees to talk about their poetry here. That's amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.